track is amazing. We got...
Okay, now that that's over with, thank God. We are going to go, if I can get my thing Jimmy rigged here. We are going to go to our guest here in just a few seconds. And we got all sorts of things coming up. The Midwest Mangler, supposedly, is headed here. I don't know if that'll happen or not. Who knows? He heard Jay was coming, and he heard that Jay was sitting on his jacket, so that might not be the case. I know, you're not sitting on the jacket. You're just sitting near the jacket. So, okay, let's go to the phones. Alex, can you hear me, my friend?
Yes, I can hear you.
Look at that. Holy smokes. You know what is great? We went to break, and Jay is like, look this guy up on Facebook. And so I was looking him up on Facebook, and as I was looking him up, all of a sudden, bang, you called me. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this all about? But thank you for taking the time and being with us in a pinch here and everything. Thank you, my friend.
No problem.
So
anything for Jay, right?
Now tell me a little bit about how you got started doing what you do, my friend. Give us a brief introduction on yourself.
Oh dear God. Well, I'm a bit of an anomaly. I'm a bit of an enigma. I do a little of everything and a little bit more.
Okay.
I started out as an illustrator. Got a job with Disney. Was an animator and an Animation Academy instructor. About 30 years ago, I was a chef. And I'm also a voiceover actor.
You're a voiceover actor?
Yes.
Yes. I'm also a regular actor. You know, I've been on Chicago Med and Chicago PD and Chicago Fire. Apparently, I live in Chicago.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I live there. My goodly Chicago rah-rah Bears.
Chicago, USA. Hey, take that to Jay.
Yeah, Chicago, USA. Absolutely.
We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in a broadcast coast to coast and boulder to boulder on TuneIn, iTunes, Radio Loyalty, iHeartRadio Today, and of course AMFM 247.com. And The Mix on Tuesdays. If you miss our program live on Sundays, you can hear it replayed on The Mix, 4 p.m. Pacific on The Mix each and every Tuesday. And Alex, for people who want to find you on Facebook, usually how I ask this question is I usually bury our co-host Jay Birdwells at the same time. But since she actually found you on Facebook, this doesn't work. But usually what I say is Jay likes to stalk our guests and everything. So how do we find you on social media?
How do you find me on social media? Well, I am not what they call a social media maven.
Okay.
I have a professional website and or a professional page and a personal page. The best way to see what I'm really doing and what I'm really up to is most of the time to go to my personal page.
Okay.
Which is Alex Ruiz Animator.
Animator. You're an animator, my friend. Look at that.
I was an animator for quite a few years, but now I'm not an animator anymore. Now I'm a director-type, producer-type feller.
Look at that.
And I also have a professional page, which is The Real Casa, C-A-S-A, D-E, Cuckoo. The Real Casa de Cuckoo.
The Real Casa de Cuckoo. You know, that sounds like a place I want to retire someday.
Yeah.
I think when it's all over, I'm gonna give up everything. I'm gonna move to that spot and have a tiny Swiss Army apartment there and play golf all afternoon.
Only if
and drink Faygo. That's it.
Only if Alex is cooking. That sounds lovely.
Now, tell me a little bit about some of these other things that you do. Do you cook? Do you rock climb? What other aspects of your life do you have, my friend?
Well, I've written children's books. I've written graphic novels. I've also, like I said, I've been a chef for about 30 years.
Yes.
and I do cook. But right now I'm developing a project where I'm combining all of the things I love.
Okay.
It combines cooking with animation, with voiceover, with comedy, with music. Because I know this sounds terrible, but back in the 80s, I was what they call a house music artist.
That's awesome, actually.
Yes, so I was a house music artist, and I do have a house music record out there somewhere in the abyss of the universe.
That's awesome.
That occasionally people are able to find.
Well, it doesn't hurt to have all these aspects and have music out there and everything. So tell us a little bit about house music. Why you decided to do house music?
It was an accident. Someone approached me. They liked my voice. They said, "We're going to do a house music record." And I said, "Okay." And I went ahead and recorded the record. And after that, the rest is kind of mild history, mild house music history.
That's awesome.
I did a one shot, and I've also done background vocals for a few people. I did background vocals. I don't know if you know who this is, J.M. DeMattis.
Oh yeah, I've heard her. I've heard that name before.
J.M. DeMattis was a writer for DC Comics. And he was also a singer.
That's awesome.
And so I did background vocals for him. A very nice man. He wrote a comic book or a graphic novel called Separation Anxiety, which was Spider-Man goes to Gotham and Batman comes to New York City and fights Carnage. And Spider-Man goes to Gotham City, like I said, and fights the Joker. And that's why it's called Separation Anxiety, I guess.
Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the cooking and the music and you do all sorts of things. You're a modern day Renaissance man.
Pretty much.
I guess you could say that.
That is awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our broadcast, and he is filling in for. We had a guy, and this is kind of amazing. We had a guy by the name of Atlanta Francis, who has ironically got an Atlanta phone number. But he lives in Wichita, Kansas, and he was going to be here in studio, and then he started calling me like 2 hours before the show, talking about, I got these guys that want to come with me, and then they can't come with me, and then they're gonna come with me, and then he's like, I'm just gonna see you next Sunday.
Jeez.
So we were hanging around, doing our thing, and then Jay is like, well, if you need a guest, let me just call Alex. And then all of a sudden she calls you, and then all of a sudden you called us, and here we are. So it's a hell of a deal.
Such a deal.
I told you he was awesome.
See, he is fantastic, and so.
All I want to say is your show is awesome. I wish you could bring my whole family onto your show. Homer's a little busy. He's in the living room. He's had a few beers and a few pork chops. So he can't be on your show. But my special little guy, Bart, is here. I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?
Well, that's the question the radio industry asks all the time.
I swear he's like the best guy on this show ever.
So you know what also is ironic? I went to a catch wrestling martial arts seminar yesterday, and this guy was showing us a technique he called the Homer Simpson.
Oh dear.
So.
What is he trips on a banana peel, stumbles over you, and crushes you with his belly?
that's a heck of a lot better than what the actual technique was. So yes, you are you're spot on, my friend. So so what upcoming projects and things do you have in the works that people can be on the lookout for?
Well, like I said, I have a project that is predominantly a cooking variety show. It's not
Okay.
a cooking show. It's a
Cooking
it's sort of a
variety
show. We are cooking the favorite foods of animated characters that I created.
Fantastic.
Tell me more.
That is
Tell-
the concept of the show.
Tell us a little
We are
bit
all-
more about this, because this sounds amazing.
Okay. Well, it's predominantly designed. It originally was designed to encourage something that hasn't happened in quite some time.
Okay.
But I've seen advertisements for it now because of the recent and all of the divisiveness in our country right now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard something a little bit about that.
Yeah, you heard about it. It's more like that. But anyway, the concept for the show is I'm cooking the favorite foods of animated characters that I've created. And it ranges from Spanish food, Irish food, Hawaiian food, Asian food. I mean, it's all kinds of food, even home cooked meal type stuff. And it is to promote family cooking together. Put down your iPhone, put down your iPad, sit with the family and create a meal. It even encourages group cooking, where people get together and let's barbecue. And, everybody gets together and brings a dish, or they all cook it together, and I have a lot of celebrity guests that are coming onto the project, onto the show, to be coming on as guests. I have a lot of blues artists and musicians, rappers, DJs, voiceover artists, actors, everybody that I know. I've gotten everybody's permission, to say that they're coming onto the show, which I'm not going to mention who they are because I want to surprise everybody
Yes.
when the
Yes.
project actually launches. I want them to be surprised and go, "Wow, that person's on your show! Holy moly!" I want
That's
them
awesome.
to be really surprised. The reason why I know all of these people is because for many years I worked for an entertainment attorney, and I got introduced to people like Buddy Guy and James Brown and all these writers and musicians, and I know Michelle Rodriguez from the Fast and the Furious franchise. I mean, I
Wow.
know all these people, and I also know I don't know if you know him by name, but I know a guy named Rick Sellers. Rick Sellers is also a very famous voiceover artist. He does the voice of the general for the General Insurance commercials.
That's awesome.
I'm very good friends with him. I mean, he's tried to invite me down to his recording studio, but because he lives in another state, it's very difficult for me to travel. I haven't been able to go down and visit him. I know chefs from around the world. I have a friend right now that's in Berlin, and I have some friends all around the country who are chefs, who I'm going to bring on as guest chefs and chef consultants on the show. I also know Native American chefs that cook rye bread and all these other, phenomenal Native American dishes. I mean, we have a vast cornucopia of artistic genres that are going to be involved in the show. And like I said, it's going to present the things that I love to do. The artwork, the animation, the voiceover, the comedy, the storytelling, and the cooking. All the things I love to do.
Do you have a launch date?
Yes. Do you have a launch date for this thing?
Well, right now we're in the process of developing what they call a sizzle reel, which is an extended teaser trailer, so that way we have something to shop to investors.
Yeah.
And the way I'm raising money is I'm developing some marinades and barbecue sauces to sell online, so that way it'll fund my project without having to go GoFundMe, you know, because sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't work.
Yes.
So I've decided to capitalize on the fact that I can create marinades and sauces.
Yes, there are there are some strange things on GoFundMe. We had a guy one time, and actually this was about a year ago. He bought advertising on one of my radio programs because he decided he was going to launch a GoFundMe because he wanted a Tesla. He had worked really hard in his life, and he wanted a Tesla. And so he wanted us to advertise to the listeners to go over and support his GoFundMe and help him buy a Tesla. And no one did.
Wow.
No one did. He complained, and we had to go to the advertising agency because he wasn't going to pay us. And the advertising agency was finally like, "We're going to give you your money because this is ridiculous. He paid for it. I'm sorry that people didn't fund his Tesla." But
Oh, wow.
yes.
I don't know. People, you know, we're in a day and age where things are just weird.
Yes. Yes, it
It's
is.
just weird. They just come out of left field, you know, and you're like, what? You know? So, I mean, you just have to, you know, for me, it's all about being real, doing the things that I love to do. You know, and I enjoy presenting artists, you know, and meeting artists of different genres. And that's who I want to bring onto my show, artists from different genres. I mean, here in Illinois, I have a family of artists. They're all artists. The mother is she's a phenomenal jewelry and pottery maker, and her son custom makes guitars. They're going to be two of our first guests on the show. And then,
Oh,
like I said,
well, that's cool.
Yeah, and I know a lot of blues artists. I know a lot of comic book artists because I've gone to comic book conventions and presented my artwork. The one thing that you don't know about me, which I didn't bear to mention, is the fact that I'm legally blind.
Holy shit.
And people do not
Holy smokes.
that I can do what I can do. But you know what? I do what I can do because I love what I can do. If I could never do it again, then, you know, my life would be empty. But I was very fortunate that some people took very, very good care of me at a place called the Chicago Lighthouse for the Blind and the Chicago Rehabilitation Center. They took very good care of me, and they've given me devices to improve my ability to do what I do. Electronic magnifiers that I can carry around, all kinds of devices that they've given me that I can use to enrich my life and therefore, in turn, enrich the lives of others. And that's why I do it. That's why I do what I do.
And the moral of this story is never give up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the moral of the story here. Never give up. Good Lord. This is amazing. You are fantastic, my friend. You're cooking. You're singing. You're drawing, as the guy from Saturday Night Live would say. There's all sorts of things going on here, and then on top of this, you can't see nobody. This is
Well, like Commander Quincy Taggart of Galaxy Quest. says.
Fantastic. Always a trusted news source. Go
What
ahead.
did you say?
Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, never give up, never surrender.
Look at that.
And just to make
You know?
old times on the radio show, I like him. Can we keep him?
Yes. I think we can keep him. We'll put him in the closet and take him out for parties, as Cousin Chris used to say. Well, thank you, my friend. It's definitely been an honor and a privilege. Thank you for being with us, and we'll definitely have to do this again. It was quite a time talking to you, brother.
Thank you so much,
It was
Alex.
my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Definitely. Have yourself a wonderful day, my friend. There he goes,
You too.
the big star, Mr. Alex. And we are going to take a time out, and when we come back, oh boy, we're going to be talking to somebody from Croatia? I think it's Croatia on the old Skype-a-rooney. And then still to come, Midwest Mangler, the big star, Midwest Mangler, he'll be here. And we will maybe talk to Derek Ellis, Merrick McMichaels on the phone. That could be fun.